Hi guys, today we are going to be doing a different type of guided reading book. But before we do that, we're going to look at the word work for this book before we get started, okay? So this word that I have here is a compound word. A compound word means that I have two words that are going to be joined together to create a new word. So here I have landforms, which is our topic for today. What are the two words that make up this word? Well, I have the word land, that's my first word, and I have the word forms, and that's my second word. So I know that land is some type of earth surface, right? When you think of land, you might think of like a long grassy field. That's land, right? Someone has land. But it can also mean other things. It can mean like dirt, it could mean like hills, it could mean lakes, and different types of things. Forms, this word forms, is how they are shaped. Okay, so whenever I have this new word, when I add it together, I have land and forms. This is telling me that these are different types of shapes of different types of land. So that could mean it could be like canyons and things of that nature, the things that are full on different and the way that they look and the way that they're shaped. But they're also part of the earth, they're a part of land. Okay, so we're going to take this information of compound words and we are going to work together to try to come up with some new words. So here I have 6 words. These words can be combined to create new words, but I need to make sure that I combine the correct words, because if I combine the wrong words, I'm not going to have a word that's real. I'm going to have a fake word. I want real words. So here I'm going to read all of my words. I have camp, worm, earth, corn, pop, and fire. So I'm going to try to match this first word here, camp, with a different word. Okay? Well, camp, worm. I don't think I've ever heard that word before, campworm. So I'm going to try the next one. Camp corn. Also not something I've heard. Campfire. Huh. I know what a campfire is. A campfire is something that people set up when they go camping, right? They can make s'mores on this, they can sing songs around it, but I know that these two things can go together. Camp is when you go outside, fire is something that you can cook on, so together it makes this new word of campfire, something that people make when they go camping. The next word I have is earth. Okay, so I have earthworm. Huh, I have heard of earthworm before, so that's a possibility, but I want to check by matching it with my second word too. Earth corn. I have not heard that word before. So I know that the words I should be matching are earth, worm. This first word, earth, is where we live, right? We live on the world. It's a planet, Earth. And worm is an insect that lives inside the dirt, right? So if I combine these words, earth and worm, I have a special type of worm that lives in the dirt, an earthworm. Pop. This word pop. Pop is a sound, right? Like pop. Corn is a type of vegetable or starch. So if I put these two things together, I have popcorn. And it's named this because popcorn pops, right? Whenever it is cooked, it makes a popping sound. So popcorn, earthworm, campfire. These are all new words that I've created by joining two separate words together. Now we are going to take a look at the book that we are reading this week, which is called A Landform Adventure. We just learned what a landform is. A landform is a different type of mountain, canyons, hills. There are all these different types of situations. So I want you to make a prediction. What do you think that this book is going to be about based off the picture? Looking at the picture, what do you think it's going to be about? If you said landforms, you're correct. In the back here, I have a picture of a landform, and my title also has A Landform Adventure. It is the title of my book. Titles can give me information about what a book is going to mostly be about. So this book is about all the amazing landforms here in America. It's a story about a student who goes on an adventure to learn more about different types of landforms. So it's a possibility that this book could be fiction because it's an adventure book. Or it could be nonfiction because landforms are real things. So we are going to take a text walk and a picture walk. We're going to look at our pictures and we are going to try to figure out if this book is nonfiction or if it is fiction. So I start on my text walk by looking at my table of contents. My table of contents, this area is very important because it gives us information of what we are going to be reading about. So if you've noticed, I've highlighted our chapter 1, which is road trip. So I'm thinking that in this first chapter, the people in this book might be going on a road trip. Let's take a look at our first page. Again, it says road trip, so I'm thinking they might be going on a road trip. Let's take a look at this picture. Let's study our picture. What do you notice about it? It's a map, right? It has different types of information for different types of states in America that have either plains, plateaus, hills, or mountains. So this is giving me facts. So I know already that this book is most likely going to be a nonfiction book because it's giving me facts about certain parts of America. Let's look at this first word, interstate. I have interstate, interstate. Do you know what that word means, interstate? Let's read the sentence and try to see if we can figure out the meaning. My parents and I will spend part of the summer driving on Interstate 90 all the way to Seattle. Well, I know that if his parents are driving, they have to be driving on a road, right? Or a highway. So I know that this word interstate probably means highway, right? That's what you drive on when you're going far places. Let's look at our different pages. This picture is also interesting. I want you to study it very carefully. You can see that this is a drawing, but if you notice, it's labeling different parts of this picture, which is something that we see inside a nonfiction text, a text about real things. It's labeling what is inside our earth. So again, it's very important for us to be paying attention to our pictures and what they are labeling things, as well as our titles for our book. The title for our book, for our chapter. It's very important to look at our title of our chapter. Let's look at this next word. I found it to be a bit tricky. This word I have is continents. I have I'm breaking it up because it's a big word and I want to make sure that I say each part correctly. Continents, altogether it's continents. So let's read again that sentence to see the meaning of this word. Thicker parts of the crust are usually huge land masses called continents. So I know that this are just land. This word continents is a fancy word for land. Read that sentence to yourself again. As we are reading today, we are going to be looking for the main idea or the central idea. They mean the same thing. They're just two different words that say it. I'm looking for the main idea and the central idea. So the main idea, the main idea is what the text is mostly about. This is when I'm figuring out all the cool information that it gives me. I need to put it all together to tell me it's about one thing. So how do I do that? Well, I need to make sure that I'm looking at the pictures. Remember, we looked about how special those pictures were. I'm looking at the title of each chapter, and I'm looking for repeated words and ideas. So sometimes they might say some stuff a lot over and over and over again, and that's because they're giving you a hint that that's what the main idea is. That's what the entire story is about. This is a way that you can picture it. The main idea is the whole hamburger, okay? The lettuce, the tomato, the bun, the meat, those are all details. They're important because they help make up our main idea, but it's not everything by itself. If you just tell me that the story was about tomatoes when it was also about these other things, you're not telling me the main idea. You're only telling me the detail. So let's give another example. Let's say I have a cucumber. I have some lettuce. I have some squash. And I have some green beans. If I put all of those things together, what does it have in common? What do all of these things have in common? Cucumber, lettuce, squash, green beans, all together, what do they have in common? They are all types of vegetables. They are all types of vegetables. But if I were to tell you that this was all about cucumber, I wouldn't be right. So your job is to be able to read your passage, to be able to find out the main idea, what it's all about. Okay, and we are actually going to practice that right now together with our first chapter. So our first chapter, like we said, is Road Trip. The title of this chapter, Road Trip, gives me a hint of what this is going to be about. But it's important for me to be able to read this passage to tell you what it's all about. I'm not just going to say road trip. I'm going to write a sentence about what this entire chapter was about. So we're going to do that now. Read along with me at home. I live in Boston, and I just found out that I'm going on a road trip. My parents and I will spend part of the summer driving on Interstate 90 all the way to Seattle. My mom told me that we're going to see some amazing landforms along the way. Mountains, plains, rivers, lakes, and lots more. My class is learning about our planet and the forces that create different landforms. It'll be so great to see some landforms in real life. One more week of school and we'll be off. So now I'm going to use that information that I just read and we are going to create the main idea. Well, I know that the main idea of this passage is that this person is going to take a trip to see some amazing landforms, right? So let's do that at this time. Okay, so the main idea is that we are taking a trip to see amazing landforms. Next, I'm going to identify the details that support this main idea. So, let's see. My class is learning about our planet and the forces that create different landforms. That's a detail because it's telling me that they're learning about landforms. So the class is learning So that's my first clue, that the class is learning about landforms, right? That's my first clue that we're going to be taking a trip. The other detail that tells me that they're going to take a trip is that he literally says what? My parents right? They're going on a trip. They're going on a trip, and they're going to do what when they go on this trip? They're going to be able to see some awesome landforms. So when I put these two details together and I put this burger together, I know that the main idea of this chapter, road trip, was that this person is taking a trip to see amazing landforms. And he knows what landforms are. Why? Because he's studying them in class. So that is how we find out the main idea.